Hello everyone, and welcome back to the GuideWell Connect Insights Lounge here at day one of AHIP Institute and Expo. My name is Kate Warnock. I'm so pleased to bring co-founder and CEO of Wildflower Health, Leah Sparks. Leah, welcome to the interview.
Thanks, it's so awesome to be here.
Well, it's awesome to have you. We're delighted. I know that you're going to be a panelist here at AHIP, so I wanted to start first though. I was checking out your website for Wildflower Health and read a little bit about your background, and you have identified who is the Chief Medical Officer of the home, and your company caters directly to that person. Who is it?
Well, more often than not, the chief health officer of the home is a woman, typically a mom. And we've known this for years. All the data shows that women make 80% of healthcare decisions. And what we aspire to do in our company is not just address the things that mom directly controls, like pregnancy and pediatrics, but ultimately use that super user of healthcare as a key stakeholder who influences the decisions of hundreds of millions of people and families, and can really help pull her spouse and her aging parents, as well as her children, into the healthcare system to make better decisions.
And you do it through a very logical way. You really tap into the mobile device is the way that you deliver. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what the model is for Wildflower Health?
Yeah, we do everything on the smartphone. And when we started the company, I was actually pregnant with my first child, and I observed firsthand that obviously all these women around me were doing everything in their pregnancy on their smartphone. And as we took a more disciplined approach and started talking to users and thought, well, we need to be on the web or we need to do other channels, it became increasingly clear that for busy working mothers, everything is on their smartphone. They say, I leave my doctor's office, I go to my smartphone. And so we really made a decision to go mobile first, and it just, we believe it's the most powerful channel for reaching the demographic we're after right now, because it is so actionable and so able to capture data and drive actions that ultimately help our clients.
Okay, so you took this mobile first approach. Very smart. Every mHealth developer dreams of having their app adopted by a major health system. What must their solutions include for that to be possible?
Well, obviously, you have to have an ROI that it makes sense to the client. So for the health plans, part of the reason we started in pregnancy is we knew that there are many undue pregnancy complications that you could help address by connecting women with the right interventions, and they're motivated to do that. So obviously having that ROI and demonstrating improvement in outcomes is the first step. But I would say the other thing that people don't talk about as much is having a solution that is enterprise ready and ready to plug into the healthcare system. And what that means is that you need to be able to tailor your solution to the benefits and services and resources of that particular health plan or healthcare client, and be prepared to meet all the security and privacy standards that are necessary for this industry. So in our company's history, we've probably spent 60 to 70% of our time building that enterprise backbone, as well as the front-end consumer applications. Okay,
so we had Rob Coppage here earlier from Cambia Health Systems, and in his role as investor relations for the company, he was talking about really what you just addressed. They have to be enterprise ready. And you said you just spent 60 to 70% of your time building that infrastructure. Where did you start? How do you know how to apply and how to plug in? You have a health industry background. Not all of our mHealth developers do. What's the right way for them to get started in this space?
Well, I think you need to have, obviously, people on your team who know healthcare. I started my career at McKesson, which is a company that kind of runs a lot of the plumbing of healthcare, so I really got to see it firsthand. Frankly though, because this is such a new space and we started 4 years ago, even newer, we learned a lot by just listening to our clients. I mean, taking the pain of going through dozens and dozens of security reviews from our clients and listening to what they need for us to work for them and being responsive to that is part of the way we've had to evolve. And we just keep getting better and better, the more clients we take on.
Okay, smart. So you iterate and you listen, and hallmarks of a great company. So Leah, there's been a lot of press given to health startups being pressured to promise that they're the next unicorn in order to secure funding. A lot of press recently. What was your experience as you sought funding, and is there a better way?
Well, when we started fundraising about 3 years ago, the market was really heating up, and everybody wanted to talk about being the next unicorn. Maybe because of my deep background in healthcare, I started my career in M&A at McKesson. Maybe because of that background, I took a little bit of a contrarian viewpoint and actually think it takes longer than people think to grow a successful healthcare company. And it's not as quick as some of the consumer tech things you see taking off in Silicon Valley. So our approach was actually to go approach healthcare investors. So Cambia Health was one of our first investors, a strategic. The other venture funds that have come on in subsequent rounds are all healthcare focused and have the patience and discipline to approach the healthcare market, because it's really different than any other industry, no matter what people tell you.
You know, is there a safe timeline to say, what's the estimate before you're really going to see a startup break even and then become profitable? Is there a benchmark?
Well, what I hear among my entrepreneur friends who are doing it, I think in a progressive, appropriate way, you know, it's more like 6 years than 3 years.
Yeah.
So everything says tech startup is 3 years. Healthcare, you're looking at twice that, I think, you know, just to be realistic.
You know, and as you said, you know, your background in the health industry, you know that there's a lot of silos that exist in this space. There's a lot of security risks and other things that have to be accounted for that maybe aren't in the other industries. So I think that probably that 6 to 7 year window is reality, given the industry that we're with, but obviously to temper the expectations of both the startups and the investors. Smart to work with the folks who know, isn't it?
Which may mean you need to raise less money at each step along the way. If it's going to take you that long,
right,
you might need to be more sober in how much you raise at each milestone.
Sage advice. Okay. So along that, I want to hear from you, Leah, as a female entrepreneur. You know, do you think that what is your advice? Let me rephrase. What's the advice for women entrepreneurs who may not have fair access to funding and resources? It's another disparity that we're aware of. You know, do you see a more level playing field in the future?
Yeah, you know, it's really hard for me to say. I think because of my focus on healthcare VCs, I may have had a different experience than some. When we raised our last round, our Series B, when we started raising it, believe it or not, I was 8 months pregnant with my second child.
God love you.
And it was fine. I mean, certainly there were some investors who looked at me like, are you kidding? You're really here asking for money and you're about to have your second baby? But I think, you know, people who invest in the healthcare market, who believe in it, you know, understand that you know, like the story I just told you, that women are this power user of healthcare, and there's actually a lot of value in having companies that are for women, built by women, for this super user of healthcare, and they get that thesis, and they don't have the, you know, they sort of have no bias when they look at your gender. And I honestly think the investors I ended up with who were willing to take that bet on a pregnant woman are just stellar. They're just stellar individuals. So it actually ended up working out well in the end.
So let me distill out of that as gracious and as you're not complimenting yourself or patting yourself on the back, but you obviously did your research. Yeah. You knew who to go after, and you certainly had the right elements in place when you made the request. So hats off to you for obviously being very successful. Congratulations on that latest funding round. I'm sure you did great.
Thank you.
So all right, well, Leah, thank you so much for joining us here today at the Guyville Connect Insights Lounge here at AHIP. We look forward to hearing more about your panel, and good luck with that too. So my name is Kate Warnock. We're going to be up soon with another interview. Please keep watching.